So, Mr. Candidate, it's your own first rally tonight.
Sort of. Yeah.
So where is it going to be?
The rally will be held at the Clementi Stadium.
Yeah, I see. Clementi Stadium. Is it the same place the reform held the other one?
Well, I suppose, yeah, it was the first time they held that, and this is the first time that the whole of the Ang Mo Kio GRC team would be there to make the speeches.
And you will speak Chinese?
Well,
English?
They're thinking maybe I'm better at Teochew, so
we just recorded our Teochew show.
They think they need some dialect-speaking candidates. So
interesting.
Yeah, maybe the audience there would like to see something and hear something different from what they can read from the papers in the different English or the Chinese language.
Can you just briefly introduce what's going to be covered today?
Well, I think I will still. Well, we have different speakers talking on different subjects, different issues, and I think for myself, my pet subject will be about retirement, cost of living. But as also a writer, script writer, I have always been writing about social issues.
I have put our Teochew talk show online, and within a day it's about 500 clicks.
Okay, then yeah. So what are the issues that you wish that I can address?
You take a free shot. I will just make it up to you.
Well, I think what's on everybody's mind after these few days of walkabouts, and I then come to realize that many residents in Ang Mo Kio GRC, they have faced similar problems, with the residents elsewhere in West Coast area where I've covered quite many walkabouts months ago. So my point here is that it's a real problem these days, because when we did our walkabout 2 days ago, we realized that many of the older residents, especially older folks, they all have one great concern.
Senior citizen.
Yeah, survival. Because at the age,
that's very sad.
Yeah, they are unable to get jobs. Not that they are not willing to work, but I imagine if you are 50 odd, 60 odd, and you are not in the best of health, I mean, the employers would discriminate, and you'll be left jobless even if you are asking for a very low salary. So their hardships can be easily understood by most people.
I think that's already a twofold tragedy. That firstly, you don't have money to retire. If you have money to retire, these people should be retiring. They shouldn't need to work for a living. They should enjoy some retirement funds that they have saved during all their previous years of hard work when they were young. This so-called CPF is already a goner for this senior citizen. Therefore, this is the one fold. The second fold is that when they now need it to still sell hard labor at their old age cheaply, still find difficulty, no opportunity, that they're willing to be exploited, and yet when offered themselves to be exploited, still so difficult to cope with life by
precisely
doing so.
And then
twofold.
Yeah, and also that brings to mind the influx of foreigners who are maybe younger, stronger, and more willing to take on lower wages, and this aggravates the situation even more. So presuming you're in the 60s and you're able to clean tables and do some hygiene work for the service sector. Now, if the employer has a choice of a younger foreign migrant worker, he will obviously opt for that. Now, this is a real situation. I've also talked to some people who are having a medical condition. That means they have sickness or illness, and they are trying to see if they can draw from their MediSave some money to get treatment. And I was told that despite the many attempts trying to get help from the government, from the MPs at the Meet People sessions, they were always turned away because they say, oh, MediSave is meant for maybe chronic sickness, and you are not to touch this money. I had this case.
In other words, their needs are not in the approved categories.
I don't know what's been approved. He said this is like you have to keep the umbrella. As an example, you have to keep the umbrella for a storm or heavy rain. But if it's raining now, they think this is not
okay. But then the government designed that this MediSave you can use for this ailment, not these. Okay. However, I have my MediSave. I'm not my health don't have problem in this region. For example, you said you can use it to treat cancer. I don't have cancer. I have say arthritis. Then I can't use my MediSave for arthritis. I have to try to get cancer or something.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know, but given the fact that most people, I mean, in the old age, when you get old, problems arise, any kind of sickness.
Correct.
And worse is the depression when you don't have income. How are you going to solve your other problems? Other than medical condition. So we have spoken to many people, and they were very forthcoming with their problems. And I think the government has failed in this aspect of addressing this. Now it's not about just no income, not having income. It's not just about sickness, inability. It's a bundle of problems, all rolled into one. And that's why when we meet old folks, they are the lost. Singaporean plight. Yeah, and it's a very serious one. It's not just getting some help. Okay, get some help from the social welfare. Now, in social welfare, I think for the desperate cases of people destitute, they only can get about $200. That's not going to see them time over, long periods. In a month, I mean, if ministers think that they need a lot of money to get by, a month of $100,000 or so, and if not, then they can't perform.
And the minister can afford to buy a brand new HDB flat
every
month. A month of salary. So how would they know your problem? Now I'm just reminding new voters and young voters about this. Mr. Lim brought up the aging issue, medical issue for the senior citizens. Now it concerns you too, because you will get old, you have parents, and it's not that what he said is none of your concern. It's not true. You will get old, you have parents, and this is a share of problem that you
facing.
Yes,
we ultimately would face this problem. Now to paint maybe the overall view of this case. Now why this is a real case in Singapore is because I give we look at a case of a normal person after graduation or maybe after leaving the school, after serving the army, say at the age 25, you start to get work, okay? You start to work for a couple of years, then you have some money to be sufficient for the first payment for a flat. So you get married, then you start having children, okay? Now once you're tied down to a flat, it's a mortgage loan for 20 years if you have a family to support, not unless you are in the minister elite.
Yeah, there's a very good term that the Chinese PRC citizens are calling it 房奴, the slave.
In China they call it 房奴.
Yes, the slave of housing loan, housing burden, financial burden.
Now let me finish the how this problem would accumulate to bigger problems. Now when you are servicing your loan, now your money is all tied down. You have to pay part of the CPF going to service the loan for the flat. Then part going to your disposable income to see through your children's education, upbringing, your wife, your own parents. Now that leaves you maybe possibly very little. So I think there are many people who live on credit, with credit cards, with other borrowings, and get on. Now when I presume that I look at a person at 25, marrying at 30, servicing the flat, spend 20 years working, then he finishes the loan at 50. Now when he reaches 50, the likelihood of him getting retrenched, losing the jobs, getting a lower pay is very, very real. Do you think so?
Yes, and this trend is caused by PAP. You see, you don't have this trend in, say, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. If you look further, Hong Kong, Taiwan, do they get...
So the argument, the PAP government will say that then, oh, your flat is worth so much, the enhancement. Now, can you take your whole family out, your wife, your children, your parents, and move them out and earn that profit? No. Even if you were able to do that, now you're going to be locked in with the minimum sum, CPF. Then now I tell you a scenario of you living at 50 years old and you having to only to collect the minimum sum to enjoy you, so to speak. You can withdraw from the minimum sum at age 65. Now currently you go on, you will be deferred, the age. Then that is so-called retirement. But even then, that's very little money. But what are you going to do at 50, between 50 and 65? You're going to take on odd jobs so that you tie over the 15 years, and then you go to the CPF board and say, now I can withdraw. Okay, how much? Every month they decide. 1,000 for the better people with more minimum sum. Those with lesser would get maybe lesser. So can one actually survive? Presuming you are not an individual, we are not here talking about your wife, your spouse, your siblings or children, requiring your support. Now you look at just, even for one person, you're looking at Singapore 500-600. You think that person can have a good life for the next 10 years, and not forgetting that 15 years down the road, from 50 to 65, you're looking at the inflationary rate going up. Can you ever cope? Right? So I think this problem, if not addressed, would always be there. And not unless you are earning huge salaries, very good salary income. This is going to be really a burden. It's going to stress you out.
On the housing cost for the young people to be unable to afford, I'm going to make a response here to what Mabotan said, that is going to raise our reserve if we lower the property prices
of the flats.
Now, why is our reserve connected to HDB flat which are owned by the people who purchased, our citizens? Because everyone is not a HDB flat owner. You are leasing. The flat belongs to HDB, Mabotan, not you. He can take it back anytime. If you're found not occupying your flat, rent it to foreigner without Mabotan's approval. He take it back from you. You are not an owner. He take it back at any price he named. Well, Mabotan himself, his salary each month can buy 1 unit of flat. Each year, he can buy up 1 whole level of flat. In 5 years term, if you vote for PAP, Mabotan can earn 5 level, void deck not included. That means up to 6th floor belongs to Mabotan in 5 years term. PAP can stretch the election to the 6th year. Then, if you walk over again, another 1 term, the whole block belongs to Mabotan, just from the salary. Calculated. And that will be not just Mabotan, every minister.
Now I'm also surprised that they actually termed that the land, Singapore land, state land, you say, okay, they are now pegging this as considered as reserves. So the enhancement, each time you think your price goes up, the value goes up of the flats. Though you can't actually enjoy the benefits from the increase in price, because there's no way out.
Correct.
So you are talking about huge reserves. It's actually only a figure that is locked in, and it's not like as if it can be liquidated, right?
Correct.
It cannot be liquidated.
Very big cake, but you can't eat.
Yeah. So I think the average citizen, how is the average citizen going to you are tied down, burdened by a huge debt. Something is very expensive. I think like Mr. Yap, I'm going to sell you this watch. You can pay me by installment. It's going to cost so much, and X years later, you can own this watch. You fully paid this watch. You know, I can tell you the value. I mark up the price so much that there's no way, you have to wear it.
Feel very rich to wear.
Yeah,
but
it feels so, it's a brand.
It's not money in my pocket.
So I think somehow it's about choice. Now, is there a way we can have options that we can buy cheaper flats? You know, if you can, like I was talking of the Chuchu segment, the video, then it becomes affordable. Now it's not only about HDB flat, because HDB housing has taken a huge chunk of the income, right? So that your disposable income becomes so little, and you have to spread to supporting your parents, raising your children, their education for the next 20-25 years before they start earning their first dollar. Now all this, and then you yourself for medical treatment, what in the event of retrenchment, losing a job, having to start something else. Now all these are problems, and they are interconnected. That because of one big problem, it will lead you to more problems, and it's hard to get out of it.
Yes, I feel sad for Singaporeans, and I actually now feel more sad for new citizens and new voters, because you came here believing in a rosy story, rosy picture painted outside, and now you are sunk into this hard reality. When Lee Kuan Yew said what? Hard truth? This is Singapore's hard truth, and you are in the same boat with us. You share the same thing that we are in. And your CPF, your house, your GST, every issue, your medical costs, there's no difference between you and me now, because new citizen, new voters, you pay same tax, you cast the same vote. So don't get swayed by PAP's sweet talk. We have been betrayed here many times, and we know. And you better find out fast and react fast.
Yeah, I think it's about time that new citizens or locals, the true-born citizens who have sacrificed in this land, doing national service, making all the sacrifices, especially our forefathers in the 60s have done a lot of sacrifices and contributions. Now, how are we rewarded? Today we see the picture. Each walkabout, I get to see, even last night, even in Ang Mo Kio area, I get to see old folks who are down and out, struggling, having little to spend on food, and totally lost because there's no sense of direction. You don't know where you're heading.
The overall picture is PAP betrayer, Lee Kuan Yew betrayer.
So I think it's time voters have to think carefully about securing the future that they promise. I think it's better we secure our future. We make sure that things don't go wrong again. Promises about high growth, I think they mentioned only yesterday's paper.
High growth that you don't get benefit.
It's only for a special class. It's not for the lay people. It's not for people, you and me. We are only ordinary folks. And unless you're in the elite class, you get to enjoy high growth. The rest of us, it gets worse. Wages are depressed with the competition from foreigners, and then
yes.
Well, I think we'll make it.
I think
in the next talk.
Yes, we better let this candidate go for dinner, that he can speak without a hungry stomach on the rally tonight.
Yeah.
And I wish you a very successful rally.
Yeah.
And have a good rally tonight.
Yeah, I do my best.